This amazing figurine of a wild boar is one of the most important artifacts found in the deposit of the National Museum from the history of Transylvania in Cluj. And not because it's made of silver or gold, it's made of bronze, of solid bronze, but it has many information to give. The silhouette of the animal is supple, and some of the anatomical elements are very nice done, very close to the real ones, especially the teeth, the ears, the hooves. The only part that is oversized is the crest, that is decorated with triangles and circles. The orbits are deep, but the eyes are missing, probably because the eyes were made originally by colored glass paste. In total, the figurine is very small in size and weighs approximately 1.6 pounds. The figurine entered in the collection of the museum from Cluj in the second half of the 19th century. We don't know the exact date of this entrance, but we know, for example, that in 1876 it was already included in an exhibition of International Congress for Prehistory in Budapest. So, considering that the exhibition took place in the 1876, we presume that the piece entered in the Cluj Museum collection not long before that. It is one of the earliest pieces that enter in the collection of the museum from Cluj. For example, in the old register of the museum has the number 105. Considering that today the museum has more than 500,000 pieces, objects and artifacts in the collection, 105, it's a very impressive number. Unfortunately, we don't know many details about the context of discovery. We only know that it was donated by somebody in the end of the 19th century, and that somebody was from the village of Geanina, that is the village, today village of Luncani in Cluj County. But even so, with the lack of this information, we know for a fact that this piece was produced in a Celtic world somewhere in the 3rd century BC or in the 2nd century BC. The Celts were an ancient population that spread through all of Europe in the late Iron Age. The generic term of Celts, of Gauls, actually describes several tribes that have a similar civilization. Originated along the Rhine or on Upper Danube, after the 6th century BC, the Celts start to occupy huge territories in Europe. For example, their occupation is documented in United Kingdom, in France, in Spain, in northern Italy, even in the Central Europe and the Balkan Peninsula. They even arrive in what's today modern Turkey. The Celts occupied this territory by force, with their swords in hand, and they were probably one of the most successful warriors of antiquity. But they failed to unite this territory in bigger political organization, in powerful kingdoms. So, because of that, in the end, they were conquered by their neighbors, especially the Romans, but they were defeated by Germans in the west of Europe and by Dacians, for example, in the Eastern Europe. During this expansion, in the 4th century BC, the Celts arrived in the Carpathian Basin and they occupied territories here, including what's today Transylvania. We know they occupied Transylvania because we found more than 500 graves of Celts here and over 100 settlements. Their occupation of the territory was strong. They stayed here more than 200 years until the beginning of the 2nd century BC, when another population rose to power here, the Dacian. Well, we are not sure how the Celts from Transylvania ended. One hypothesis is that they were defeated by the Dacians and cast away, or maybe they just peacefully migrated somewhere else. Well, if we had more information about the Celts, more artifacts of the Celts from Transylvania, we would know better. The figurine found in Luncani is unique in Romania. but is not unique for the whole Celtic world. For example, similar figurines were found in the extreme west of the Celtic world, in UK, in the United Kingdom, in the Central Europe, in Ukraine, Hungary, or the Czech Republic, and in the eastern parts of the Celtic territory in what's today modern Bulgaria. This is proof that the boar was very important for the Celts wherever they were. The wild boar was important for the Celts not only because it represented a good meat. It was not an easy prey and therefore very appreciated in the Celtic world, but not only because it was good to eat. In the same time, the boar occupied a very important place in the imaginary and spirituality world of the Celts. For example, wild boar was eaten in funeral banquets, being considered a food fit to gods, heroes and kings. But in many Celtic graves, they preferred to put for the afterlife pig meat, not boar meat, because boar meat probably it was very hard to find. Because the boar was a very powerful and fearless animal, the Celts associated his image with the warriors, with the war, with hunting, so that's why probably they represented boars on swords, for example. Also, little figurines like the one from Luncani, it was placed on top of helmets used in battle. We know that it's true because we have knights represented with some kind of helmets with a boar on top, on coins or on some pottery. It is likely that the statue from Luncani was also pinned on helmets and worn in battle. Also, it's interesting to know that the boar was used as ornamentation for a well-known Celtic instrument, the cornix. It was an S-shaped trumpet used in battle for Celts to scare the enemy. The boar play a very important role in Celtic religion, not only connected to war. For example, we have gods that take shape of a boar. The best example is probably the god Mocus, a god similar to Mercury in the Roman world. The boar play an important role in popular beliefs in the Celtic world. For example, amulets in the shape of a boar were used for protection. In a similar way, fangs or teeth from boars were also used for protection. Given its strength and virility, the boar was seen as a symbol of fertility. It's not a coincidence, probably, that the genitals of the statue from Luncani is closer in shape to the human one and not to the animal ones. In contrast to its relatively small size, the wild boar from Luncani offers a lot of information about the world of Celts, and it's one of the most important pieces found in the collection of the National Museum from the history of Transylvania in Cluj.